Broc Glover here at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan, where we're getting ready for the Dunlop Motorcycle Tires Track Walk. And round 5 of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship, but round 1 of the East Coast. And I have Mike Brown, team trainer and past AMA champion of the and team trainer of the Triumph Racing team, and can't wait to hear your Triumph Racing stories, because this is the debut, the first time really the public has seen that motorcycle.
Yeah, it's a historical moment for Triumph, and we're excited. We've been working hard the last couple months, and they've been going for a year or two on the bike, and it's going good. The bike seems good to me. We've not really been debuted anywhere, so it's kind of see where we're at this weekend, and hopefully we have a good showing.
Well, let's check out this track right now. I mean, this is again the first time the Triumph 250 is going to be out there, and you've got your riders Jalik Swoll, and you've got Evan Ferry making his pro debut. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yep. And they've been good. Like you said, Evan's brand new at this sport, and he's learning a lot. Each day he's getting better and better. And Jalik, the veteran for our team, is he's a good rider. We just got to get him focused, and we worked on a lot of things this off season and getting the bike dialed in. So looking for good things with him.
Well, great. Well, we're heading off the start right now, and this dirt, if you remember last year, was it was pretty much brand new. They'd screened it, and it's some of the better dirt in the series. Everybody really likes it. They got it really clean, very few rocks in it, and we're heading down this start. And if you notice here, we're on a football field, the stadium. It's definitely a smaller footprint. But right here, this is a short run across and we're talking about 170 feet or so before you got to make a sharp left-hand corner here. It's a full 90 from the inside. Yeah. The outer gates, it's probably maybe 110 degree or so, but it's at that point coming right into a tabletop setup at this corner right here. So if you've got your line, and we got to watch this section in practice there, but the hot ticket was to hit this right here on this table and downside that table if possible. So what were your riders saying about here when you talked to them after press day? Yeah,
that was good. If you can get down the downside of the tabletop and triple in, but it's like a small mistake, then you're doubling through the section. So got to be precise. Get down the backside. I think there's suspension coming here, and everybody's kind of always like running a little soft. You got to have stiff suspension because the jumps here a lot more G'd out than what we have at our practice track, so they're noticing that like bike's a little bit soft. So getting clean on this here to get the triple single on this is it's going to be the hot line. Yeah, you were talking about how being precise here. If you do make a mistake, you lose a lot of time. That's what's kind of nice about this section. I think it's actually a very well designed, built section. When you land on this tabletop, real simple, clean on. Clear that next one, and then you've got a big 5-footer behind it, followed by a couple of smalls, and then another 5. So if they were landing on this, clearing this next one, you had a triple, and then a triple into a 180 corner. I think that's the main safest line. If you can't get down the backside, most people's going to be going off, triple then. Yep, and then the A riders, if you would, and the 250, top 250 guys, we saw Sexton and some of the other riders out here during press day, downsiding this right here, so really that would be, a great run, taking off on the small. And then Derek's walking up the 5-footer, so you can see he's way above us here. So they're clearing the tall one, landing over on the other 3-footer, and then launching another 3-footer to clear the tall and landing on a 3-footer. The other triple, leaving themselves at the very end of this just one small 3-footer single into a 180 bull. Exactly. So it was a luxury for us doing the track walk to actually see the riders try this section when they're doing it in press day to see which lines worked. But I did see a lot of the newer riders and struggling a little bit back there trying to do that faster combo, and they ended up losing so much more time. Unless they can get it down for the race, they need to just go back to the consistent one so they don't have one of those catastrophic laps or two that they're losing 2 or 3 sections. Then you got a double and then triple into the corner. So it's we did not get to see really once the top riders were tripling, they were landing into the face of this one right here with this Honda Tough Locks. They were just coming through here and going and cutting across because of press day. They cut these 2 lanes out for press day. But they're going to be hitting that bull, so they're going to be launching that single, probably landing up in the bull. And right here, a little bit of the reverse version of it, right? This section coming over and up onto a table there. What do you think here, Mike? I think this thing over there, if you can get over it and then maybe double, triple out, or on, off, triple, single. Like I said, we haven't seen. I think it depends on the dirt, how rutted it gets, and for me, I think it'd be on, off, and then get through the rest of it.
Yep. Well, we got one little section where they just watered. We were trying to beat the watering out, but man, we're gonna need our mud shoes, mud tires, which neither of us have on. So try to stay upright here. So coming through here, yep. If you come on the table, you're gonna clear this. Then you got another big. But instead of going big, small, small, big, this is a little different. This is off the table to a small 3-footer. And then 3 tall 5-footers right in a row. So
with the single
that also is a different pattern that we don't see every single track either.
I haven't seen it like this race in a while. So yeah, I think it's depends how if they can get over that and stay clean, maybe double, then triple out.
Yep, yes, they could do that, right? Exactly. So if you could come over. Yep, you could. If you could clean the backside of that table, then you could double here, as you were saying, and then use the 5-footer to completely triple into the Dunlop bowl corner up here. Yeah. So let's talk about Detroit. I mean, here's you. Funny story. I mean, you raced pro for 23 years, I believe, right?
Yes.
So, and it's some great stories because when you started off, you were just a privateer on your own, and then you got picked up the next season by Mitch Payton at Peacock. Yeah. But then the next season, you had just a kind of a tryout contract. I know one of those well. That's what I ended up. So I felt for you there. But then something happened. You did pretty well, and then they got you got basically just told you didn't have a seat anymore after that.
I was done after Supercross, did the Nationals, a few races by myself, and then called it a day. 93 came in and didn't race many. I raced cars, go-karts, everything but dirt bikes, and then started training into that year and came back in 94 and won my first Supercross ever out of the back of a Chevy van in Pontiac.
Right here up the road here, the old Pontiac Dome, which, the Detroit market is second only to Anaheim of having as many Supercrosses. So I think it had 57 rounds or something at the Pontiac, which is crazy that it had that many rounds up there.
If we were at old Pontiac, you'd be squeezing in the soft dirt. I'm sure you raced there. How soft the dirt was back then, and now
they had 17 times they raced double headers there in Pontiac. Crazy, so it is pretty strange. But you won out of the back of your own van, and then that kind of relaunched your pro career.
Straight.
And so that was
into '94 that year. I was from my privateer to Honda Troy, then I was Honda Troy for 2 or 3 years and kept working my way back here and there, and I'm back here now.
And amazing. And now you're still riding, still training. I've seen you ride. Trust me, we went to Italy and spent a week together there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's got national speed still. Have you ever thought about coming back and riding a national?
Maybe this year. See how much I can get a ride this year. That was my goal, to do a national end of the year, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, we just had Billy Lalinovich make a main event, the oldest person, 40 years old, made a 250 main last week in Anaheim, which was very, very cool. Billy was a local San Diego guy that I saw growing up as a kid. So coming out of this bowl corner right here, we got 9 whoops, 10 if you count the little pre-starter. Just basic dozer whoops. They're pretty clean, and they're they look like they're compacted reasonably well, but I'm expecting some ruts will
I think this is where the race is always, this is where it's kind of won most of the time. Everyone's got the most momentum coming in, not scared to hit them is the main thing here.
So when you're working with your riders, I know you guys are also going to have Joey Savacci outdoors, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got Evan, a little young, a little green. Got Jalik, who's been, rode the Husky team. He's been riding with some of the best guys. Comes over as kind of your veteran 250 rider. Like, when you work with them in the whoops and things, do you actually get your leg over a bike and come run through the whoops with them, or are you mostly just try to work with them?
And I shouldn't have done it, but I was out just riding around these leagues and no helmet, no nothing, and went through the whoops. But no, it's more feel and watching, and I love the whoops. When I was racing, that was my favorite part of racing Supercross. I like the whoops, so I wasn't really scared of them, which sometimes. But anyways, it's I would like to, but maybe sometime this year I'll get on it.
Well, in 2022, I think the AMA awarded you the Vet Rider of the Year, which was a nice award that was presented to you. How many Loretta Lynn's championships do you have?
I think it's 13 total.
13, wow. And how many of them as a vet and how many as a youth?
4 with the amateur A and B years, and then I think 9 with vet stuff.
That's pretty
25
awesome.
plus.
That's
awesome.
Well,
25 is not a vet, is it? So
I don't know. 25, yeah,
still pretty
exactly.
young.
I think it's pretty young, considering, like we said, people racing the pros now up till their 40s. So coming out of the whoops into a real basic single, but a 2-lane sand corner,
Yes.
couple of rollers on the inside, nice smooth railing berm on the outside. I'm trying to think back the last time I remember a big sand corner
Sweeper
being
like this.
right before the finish line.
yeah, be good to see who tries to double into the roller, the first roller
Yep.
from the inside, and
Yep.
get through. But like you said, it's the first sand corner and really tight. Most of them's kind of open, so it's
Yeah.
I think it'll be rough.
So Derek, if you can zoom over there a little bit by the Monster Energy and the Triumph Tough
Yeah.
Block there. When Mike was talking about, if you're coming out of this section right here, there's a big roller there. There's a darn good chance you're going to see somebody hit that and
get in there.
downside, land here, kind of pivot, and then just one quick
Back out.
pop and up the finish line jump here. So that would be fast, but that sections, you know, those
Yeah,
sand
it's going
sections
to change
get so
every
torn
lap.
up.
Yeah.
And then heading over just a traditional finish line jump. It's positioned right in the dead center of the floor of the stadium. We'll go around since they just threw a bunch of water on it. Yep. So right here, this next section right here, coming off this finish line, is something, we were talking about it earlier, it's a pretty basic section for Supercross, no question about it. But I kind of sometimes, personally, I like to see at least one lane that's pretty basic.
Racing.
Because it allows the riders to race each other as opposed to the track.
Yeah, exactly.
So you come off of here, just a real simple double that these guys are doing their sleep. But when you're coming off of a sand corner, you might have got a better drive from the outside or the inside. You come alongside of a rider here. Good passing opportunity right here in this next 180.
The track even looks super wider here than normal, but yeah, got a lot of room to move around and get into the big bowl corner.
Yep. So this track, because it is a smaller footprint, they modified the original layout over on the starting line area. It's coming in around 1,650 feet, which is right about what Indianapolis was last year.
Yeah.
And we saw 45-second lap times.
Quick lap times.
So,
a lot of laps and heats in the main.
Yep. Main event 250 could be 21 maybe.
Yep.
And you know, somewhere around there. And then I think 450 could be as many as 26, 27. Yeah, exactly. So that being said, that's a lot of laps to keep your focus, but also it's really hard on the track. I mean, these 450s tear up. They tear up the you know, so it's who would have known we were going to have the national anthem? We have to take your hat off and observe this. So we're going to so apologize for that. We were not told this was going to happen. So we'll try to talk loudly, and we don't mean to disrespect our national anthem.
That's right.
It's a warm-up rehearsal, and so coming over this right here, we were seeing the riders. Derek, I don't know if you can position yourself to where you can see that the riders were tripling on here. And Mike and I are standing up on a little knuckle where they've got it knocked off over here. So here's
more rolled off.
Have it. So what they're encouraging right here is to downside this.
Quad over and then triple double,
so,
which I think Chase Sexton did in a practice. So I think, like I said, it depends on how the track deteriorates, and it's another tricky section like the first one.
So you were talking about Chase, so we give it a little applause, thank you. Chase Sexton right down here was basically downsiding this, and at this point right here, he was checking up to double this, and I mean checking up because I don't know that you could actually triple that pocket right there. That's actually like a
hot dog kind of.
Like a hot dog bun is a good description. It's a pseudo tabletop. So check up here for a double, but then launch that into the triple. Other riders that were coming off of that up onto the table, they were hitting the knuckle, landing here, and then tripling over this hot dog bun. Can we coin that phrase?
Yeah, exactly.
Hot dog bun here. So they were jumping over the top of this right here.
Double into the corner.
Yep, and then, or if they were clearing this, they were singling into the corner. So another great design, in my opinion, where it's got multiple options. We saw that very first lane that had all the different options. This has some options. So doing so, you know, as the track ruts up, you might be 15 laps into the race and you're looking for an
Change your
alternative,
line, yeah.
alternative rhythm section.
And that happens a lot on the main line. Then you can get off kilter, I guess you'd say, and then jumping where the ruts are or not.
Yep, off rhythm, and so that you never know. You can get off rhythm on those guys and have an opportunity to pass, or if the other riders maybe make a mistake or something. So always stand up on these triples. Does it always seem far to you?
Yeah.
When I look over
That's almost as big as this one.
It
used
is.
to be really
huge.
small.
Yeah, the triples are usually, that one's as big as this. You could run this track both ways, I guess, both directions. But that's a good size. I'm sure it's measuring right around the normal 60-some feet, but it's it seems far to me every time I stand up on top of one.
Sure.
So triple jump here, they weren't having any issues with it in press day. And then coming here, this is another section where you're going into a little bit of a rhythm, a knob, and then you want to scrub this first one and hit the next one, and it launches out onto the starting line there.
Even in press day, they was getting really rutted and like G'd out in the faces thing, and you see people having struggles with that. So
right before we started this track walk, I saw Corey and the guys from Dirtworks. They're over here packing this down further, trying to get it cleaned up. But this was one of the more rutted jumps. As the riders hit it with a lot of speed. So you never know. The dirt might have gone in later or didn't have as much chance to dry. But it's a pretty simple shot all the way through here. So talk about the Triumph Racing programs. Let's not talk about Triumph Road. So, well, the good news is we're almost done with the lap. So you never know when they're trying to give us the slot to do our track walk. What's going to go on? They have so many moving parts here with VIP tours and, as you saw, national anthem practice and rehearsals and everything. So we appreciate everybody watching here. Next week we are off to Glendale, and we'll be what will be round 6 of the 450s and back to the West Coast.
Back to the West Coast for sure. Then back weekend off for everybody. Then.
So what are you guys going to do between now and then? You think reassess?
Reassess, see what happens tomorrow night, and hopefully everything's good, and we just keep building on what we got, and be back in Dallas ready for more.
Very good. So thank you, Mike Brown and Triumph Racing, for letting us borrow you right during this busy day. And thanks everybody for tuning in to the Dunlop Motorcycle Tires Track Walk from Ford Field here in Detroit, Michigan.